What is up, my lovelies? It's Dani here. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that is amazingly interesting, and it's that of intermittent fasting, but with a little twist for women, and discovering how good is it, if there is actual research comparing it to how it affects women compared to men, and if we should actually be using, who should be using it for not only weight loss and like fat loss, but for our overall health. So stay tuned because this one's gonna be super interesting, I promise. So guys, the two magic words, intermittent fasting. How many times have you heard these two words on social media, on the internet, just in general, on the actual media? It is such a thing right now. It is such a hot topic that claims that it is amazing for weight loss, fat loss, for treating autoimmune diseases, for avoiding heart disease or neurological disease. But is it really focused on women also? Is it really focused on both sides of the spectrum, men and women? Well, apparently it's not really, because most studies are done either on men or on rodents, so rats. Another thing is that most studies that are done on women on intermittent fasting are done on either women that are already on their menopause or that are overweight. So there is not a lot of information on women that are young and healthy. And why is this? So it seems like it is really expensive and really complicated, which I completely understand, to get women that are on the same moment of their cycle and that have a similar hormonal kind of pattern, that their hormones are in like a very similar level, which I think it's almost impossible, really. So then right now, it is practically impossible to really find a scientific based answer on if women that are young and healthy should be doing intermittent fasting, what are the side effects of it, and if it's actually useful or harmful. To summarize, the latest kind of studies that have been done on female rats versus male rats are the following. One study discovered that after putting male and female rats at the same time on an alternate day fasting process from 3 to 6 months, that the responses from these two animals were so different that it is crazy. In the male rats, it just didn't affect them at all in weight wise, and they're still doing their activity and stuff. So like it didn't really affect them that much. Well, the female rat had a lot of like bad side effects on like her energy. So she started doing any physical activity. She had a bunch of like weight loss, and she also exhibited like a higher stress level response, which no good. Another study done on rats showed that again, 3 to 6 months of alternate day fasting on female rats presented decrease in their ovary size, and these rats also started presenting irregular reproductive cycles, which again, no good. And another study done with rats on intermittent fasting discovered that intermittent fasting had really adverse effects on their reproductive systems and on their fertility, both sexes, which again, no bueno. For studies in actual humans, they did one study where they put menstruating women under a 72-hour fast. That must be so hard. And they discovered that their cortisol levels went to the roof. These women had decreased threonine levels, and they also had an amplified secretion of melatonin in the evenings. I mean, I also have to say that it's not all negative. There have been studies done on fasting for like actually curing or like helping cure diseases in your body, like cancer and degenerative diseases, and they have shown to be really useful. So that doesn't mean that intermittent fasting is bad for women. You just have to know how to handle it, know how to do it, and know what you're trying to achieve with it. Really important, that last one, know what you are trying to achieve with it. But a thing that worries me, right, is that a lot of these studies show how it is so harmful for our reproductive system. Basically, once we restrict our body from calories, so once we restrict our body from eating, which is what we're doing when we're doing intermittent fasting, these will it will have a very negative impact on different hormones. And I'm going to read those hormones to you. Gonadotropin releasing hormone, basically GnRH, you can look that up, luteinizing hormone, and estradiol, okay? All of these hormones are required for a proper reproductive system balance. And once we're not feeding our body for a long period of time, okay, I'm not saying, you know, if you don't feed it for 3 hours, you're gonna, oh my God, you know, not feeding it, I'm talking intermittent fasting is around 16 hours of fast. So not eating, only eating during 8 hours a day. And let me be very clear about this. I'm not only talking about having babies, but your sex hormones are so important for so many other things. For bone health, for protection against cancer, for your mood, for your sexual desire, and for the health of your skin and your hair, and like just in general, your sex hormones are so important for you. So you gotta be careful what you put your body through. But let me also make it very clear to you guys. I'm not saying don't fast, but fasting for women, intermittent fasting for women, depends on a lot of factors. How old are you? How are your hormone levels? Why are you actually fasting? What are the goals? You know, what goals are you trying to achieve with fasting? Do you have any hormonal issues? Are you actually planning to get pregnant soon? So many things, guys, that we have to think about before we actually start fasting. Personally, I've been fasting, and I haven't been fasting like proper intermittent fasting. So I haven't been doing like 16-hour fast. I do max a 12, 13-hour fast for around, it's been less than a year. And for me, it works quite well some days, and some days it doesn't, so I don't fast those days. As soon as I get hungry, I go on like kind of like the intuitive eating kind of process, where if my body is hungry, I will feed it. I do not care if I've been fasting for 8 hours, if I've been fasting for 6 hours. It doesn't matter. If your body gets hungry, it is asking you for food, so feed it. Also, research suggests that there are certain groups of women that should first or either not be fasting or not doing extended periods of fast above 12 hours. If you're an athlete, or if you're very, very, very active, if you have any type of sleeping disorders, if you are extremely lean, if you have less than 18% fat as a woman, if you have been tested and you have low reproductive hormone levels, if you suffer from hypothyroidism, or if you actually suffer from irregular periods or amenorrhea. And the other group of women that is not recommended for them to fast for more than 12 hours, and in my opinion, no one should be fasting for more than 12 hours if they're a woman, are if you're young, okay, if you're like a teenager, if you're trying to get pregnant, if you are breastfeeding, okay, be careful with these things, because you should not be looking to reduce the number of calories that you eat or like not eat, but instead you should be focusing on, you know, filling yourself up with nutrients, because you are actually getting into a position where either you're too young for this, or you are trying to actually grow a baby inside you, or have a baby, or actually are breastfeeding a baby. Also, but I think this is obvious, girls with eating disorders or previous eating disorders should not be fasting. Do not fast, eat, okay? You should be focusing on getting all the nutrients that you can into your body instead of forbidding yourself to eat for X amount of hours. Like I said, we're all different. Women are all so different between ourselves. So there is not one thing that I can recommend you doing and say, well, yeah, fast for 12 hours is the best thing, because it may not work for you. Even fasting may not be appropriate for you. So you can actually test it for a little bit if you feel like you should be testing it, just to try see if it actually works with some weight loss, but also taking into account that it doesn't affect and doesn't mess up with your hormones. You can try it for a short period of time, see how it goes. If you are experiencing any like adverse symptoms like lack of sleep, your hair is getting very thin, you're having like hormonal issues, you have mood swings, just be very, very, very careful and completely stop doing it, because it's not going to benefit you. It's actually going to harm you. And that is it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Don't forget also to give us a like, give us some love, and comment down in the comment section below if you have any other questions. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the video, and I'll catch you up in the next one. Stay safe. Mwah.